Something is changing, and you feel it. It's not imagination. It's not coincidence. There's an invisible pressure in the air, as if the world is holding its breath before a big event. What if I told you that a portal has already opened, and that only 1% will cross? It's not a physical place nor a traditional test, but a silent crossing that few notice. Most will continue living on autopilot, missing the signs, ignoring the call. But those who have already awakened know the final portal has arrived, and it demands your deepest truth. This isn't just any warning. This is the kind of message that only appears when you're ready. But are you really ready? Or will it be just another one that gets left behind? The portal does not open with the eyes, but with the silent heart. Most people are looking for answers in the wrong place. They think they'll cross the portal because they studied, meditated, and repeated beautiful phrases. But the portal doesn't recognize words. It senses vibrations. It recognizes who you became when no one was looking, and that's where it all begins, in silence. When you withdraw, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop chasing, that's when the portal begins to pulse, calling out to your frequency. But crossing this portal requires more than desire. It requires courage to leave behind everything you swore was part of you. The pain, the fears, the attachments. The final portal doesn't allow baggage. It wants you naked, without masks, without labels, without shields. And that's why so many shy away. Because bearing your soul is an act of courage few practice. Have you ever felt that calling? That strange feeling of no longer fitting into places, people, routines? It's the portal approaching. It doesn't shout. It whispers. And only those who have sufficiently cleared their own energy can hear it. The rest call it crisis, loneliness, or fatigue. But it's none of those things. It's preparation. Right now, you may be experiencing loss, separation, and moments of deep doubt. And this isn't punishment. It's refinement. It's as if the universe is peeling away the layers you no longer need, leaving you light enough to cross over. Those who cling to what's falling lose the chance to be reborn on the other side. The final portal separates, not by judgment, but by attunement. And the question is simple. What still keeps you here? What do you still insist on carrying even though you know it no longer fits? Maybe it's time to let go. Maybe it's now. Because the portal waits for no one. The silent separation of the worlds. We are experiencing a phenomenon invisible to the naked eye but devastating to those who feel it. The separation of worlds. Not in the physical sense, but in the energetic. Those who resist transformation remain trapped in a dense reality, where everything weighs heavy, everything tires, everything hurts. Those who are awakening are beginning to notice that certain environments are suffocating, that some conversations sound hollow, that certain people simply drift away. And this hurts, but liberates. The portal does this. It separates to protect, to fine-tune the frequency, to make room for the new. You might be experiencing this right now, friendships falling apart for no apparent reason, relationships growing cold, places that once felt like home now make you uncomfortable. It's as if the universe is pushing you out of a bubble, even if you don't yet know where to go. But the truth is, there's no turning back. The portal has already opened within you, and everything that doesn't resonate with your new vibration will be ripped away sooner or later. The more you resist, the more it will hurt. But when you surrender, everything begins to flow with a strange lightness. It's in this process that many get lost, because the ego screams. It wants to understand, control, hold on. But the portal isn't rational, it's pure surrender. The crossing doesn't happen with certainty, it happens with faith. And only those who trust in the invisible will be able to move forward. The rest will continue spinning in circles, repeating patterns, looking for someone to blame, without realizing that what's crumbling was never real. It only served you while you were still asleep. Now it's time to wake up. The cruelest thing about this moment is that it's silent. There are no grand announcements, no maps. Each person is guided from within in almost imperceptible steps, and those who don't learn to listen to their own soul will get lost in the noise of the world. The final portal is like a ray of light amidst the chaos. Only the attentive will see it. And only the brave will cross over. The question is, are you ready to let go of everything that is no longer you? Because that's the real test. The test isn't in what you achieve, but in what you can let go. The invisible tests that define those who cross. The final portal doesn't require diplomas, it's not impressed by titles, it doesn't make room for appearances. What defines those who cross it are the invisible trials, those that no one sees but that silently shape your soul. When you choose silence over revenge, when you forgive without the other asking, when you continue to believe even after all seems lost. It's these silent choices that bring you closer to the portal's frequency. And they aren't easy. They're painful. They demand sacrifice. They tear at pride. Many believe they will be chosen for the good they've done for the world. But the true selection happens behind the scenes of the soul. When you choose not to retaliate against an offense. When you feel anger, but don't feed it. When the world pushes you toward the old, and yet you choose the new, even without knowing exactly what that is. It's in these moments that the portal observes you. It doesn't expect perfection, it expects authenticity. It expects coherence between what you feel and who you are. These trials are silent yet devastating, because they stir your inner self, confront your shadows, and challenge your oldest wounds. And each time you go through one of these trials, something within you changes. You become lighter, more lucid, more whole. And this spiritual integrity is what paves the way. There's no point in trying to force it. The portal recognizes those who have truly passed the trials, and those who have merely attempted to awaken. Maybe you're being tested right now. In silence. In the dark. And maybe you haven't realized it yet. But stop and reflect. What's happening in your life right now? What's getting out of your control? What's forcing you to look within? That could be exactly where the test lies. And maybe, just maybe, this is the chance to get closer to the crossing. Because in the end, the portal only opens for those who have already gone through what needed to die. The question now is, what in you still needs to die so that you can finally be reborn? The weight of the untold truth. Truth has a price, and few are willing to pay it. Because it's not just about saying what you think, but about living according to what you feel, even when no one understands. The final portal demands this truth. It doesn't open itself to those who still pretend to be something they're not, to those who still try to please, fit in, disguise, endure. It takes courage to be honest with your own heart, to admit that certain paths no longer make sense, that certain people no longer touch you, that certain routines are slowly killing you, and even more courage to act on this truth, without guarantees, without applause, without certainties. Many talk about awakening, but they continue to live dormant within characters they created to survive. And the portal doesn't recognize masks, it only vibrates in the presence of those who are whole, raw, and unfiltered. That's why so many people get stuck when crossing over. Because holding your own truth is frightening. It can distance you from people, from patterns, from comfort zones you believed were safe. But the truth never imprisons. It liberates. And the crossing is only possible when you let go of the lie you've learned to call identity. You don't have to tell your truth to the world. You just have to stop hiding it from yourself. Every time you remain silent about what you feel, the portal closes a little more. Every time you betray your intuition to fit into something small, you distance yourself from the frequency that could set you free. And this is subtle, almost imperceptible, but powerful. The final portal is not an event. It's a daily choice. It's an invisible construction made of internal, silent, consistent decisions. Look honestly. What are you still pretending not to? See? What are you still trying to hold on to even though it's already dead inside you? What pacts do you still maintain for fear of losing something that, deep down, was already lost long ago? These questions don't have easy answers, but that's precisely why they are the gateway. The truth can be hard, yes, but living away from it is much harder. So, if you really want to cross over, start with a simple and brutal step. Admit to yourself everything you no longer want to carry, and then Have the courage to let it go. The call is not for everyone, but it is for you. Right now, thousands of people are hearing this call and ignoring it. They think it's fantasy, that it's all in their heads, that it's just another piece of content like so many others. But you felt different, didn't you? You felt a pang in your chest, a restlessness in the pit of your stomach, as if something inside you was saying, "Pay attention. This is for you." And it is. If this message has reached this far, if you're still reading, it's not by chance. It's because you're part of the 1% who can get through. But only he can. Because whether to cross or not is still up to you. The final portal won't knock on your door. It won't pull you in by force. It won't beg. It only opens to those who choose it. To those who say yes even when trembling. To those who accept the invitation even when they don't understand. And that's why most people stay behind. Because they want guarantees. They want external signs. They want proof. But the true confirmation is in what you feel inside, right now. In the shiver, in the pause, in the unexpected tear. This is how the portal communicates through the invisible. Don't expect others to understand your process. You may need to step away. You may need to disappoint some expectations. You may need to walk alone. But this is also part of the journey. You're exchanging crowds for truth. And this exchange, though painful, is worth every step. Because on the other side of the portal, there is a life vibrating at its most authentic frequency. A life where you take a deep breath and say, "Now yes, I am where I should be." You'll feel fear, you'll doubt, you'll want to go back. But if you persist, something extraordinary happens. A profound peace begins to emerge from the chaos. A quiet clarity replaces the confusion. And then you understand that everything that seemed to be falling apart was actually opening your path. The portal is the destruction of the false so that the true can finally flourish. So the final question is not, will the portal open for me? But rather, I am willing to cross over, even if it means leaving everything behind. When everything starts to fall apart, it's a sign that it's working. It's easy to think something is going wrong when everything around you starts to crumble. Relationships strain, paths close, certainties evaporate. But what few understand is that this collapse isn't the end. It's the beginning. When the old begins to crumble, the new isn't yet visible. And that's when many give up. Chaos is the language the portal uses to show you that you are being called. And the test is, will you trust even when everything seems to be against you? That feeling of being lost, alone, misunderstood, it's part of the journey. Because to cross the final portal, you need to shed what kept you tethered to the surface. And that only happens when the ground disappears from under your feet. It's at that point that you learn to fly. But first comes the fall, that symbolic fall, where you release everything that is no longer you. What seems like defeat to the world is liberation to your soul. And the truth is, no one will hold your hand during this process. This journey is lonely. Not as a punishment, but because only you can decide to cross. Only you feel the weight of your choices. Only you know what you're giving up to achieve what you can't even imagine yet. And when everything is dark, when it seems you're completely alone, remember, it's in this silence that the portal opens. The fall is not the end. It is the impulse to awaken. And if you are willing to see beyond the chaos, you will realize that what is crumbling was never yours. What is real remains. What is false dissolves. What is true calls to you. The portal only allows what is authentic to pass through, and sometimes to discover that you have to lose everything. So don't fight the collapse. It's the key. Accept the collapse as an invitation, because when everything seems to be ending, you might finally be beginning. The call comes silently, and you must learn to listen. Have you ever felt like something was calling you, even without knowing what it was? A sudden restlessness, an unexplained discomfort, a desire to change everything even without apparent reason. This is the call, and it doesn't come with signs, it doesn't come with loud voices, it doesn't come with explanations. It's subtle. It's a whisper of the soul, and only those who have learned to listen to their own silence can perceive it. The world screams constantly. There are stimuli everywhere. People are always rushing, always distracted, always searching outside for what can only be found within. And that's why so many don't listen. They spend their lives waiting for grand signs, magical revelations, external confirmations, while the true calling is already echoing within them. But it only reveals itself to those who have learned to silence themselves. The portal communicates like this, in pauses, in intuitions, in inexplicable feelings. It won't beg for your attention, it respects your time, but it also has a limit. If you don't listen, if you ignore it, if you continue drowning in the noise, it closes. Because the call isn't eternal, it appears when you're ready, or almost ready, and if you waste the opportunity, it may be a long time before another one appears. It takes courage to listen, because what you hear may not be what you want. Your soul may be asking you to change your life, break off relationships, abandon comfort zones, start over from scratch. But that's how it is. It's in that moment that you choose. Follow the noise of the world, or follow the truth of your soul. Only one of these paths leads to the portal. The question is simple. Have you been listening to your soul lately? When was the last time you sat in silence, without distractions, just feeling what was coming from within? Maybe the call has already come, and you just haven't recognized it yet. But now that you know, what will you do with it? Pain is the messenger of the soul. The pain you feel isn't trying to destroy you, it's trying to wake you up. It's the most intense beat of the soul when everything else has been ignored. When you run away from yourself, get lost in the world, distance yourself from your essence. Pain comes as a last resort, not as punishment, but as a warning. And as cruel as it may seem, it's a gift, because it's what forces you to stop, to reflect, to look within, without the masks, without the distractions, without the addictions. It's when you can no longer escape that you finally begin to hear what has been trying to tell you for so long. Many believe they are being punished when life begins to hurt, but that's precisely where the portal opens. In the midst of pain, between tears and hopelessness, there is a crack, an opening to something greater. Pain only exists when there is resistance. When you surrender, it begins to transform into clarity, into strength, into purpose. What you call suffering is often just the process of deconstructing the false. And the more you cling to what is crumbling, the longer you prolong that suffering. You need to understand, pain is not your enemy. It's trying to show you that something inside you is out of place, that you're living a life that doesn't honor your essence, that you're trying to fit into spaces that no longer belong to you. And until you accept this calling, the pain will persist. It will show up in your relationships, your health, your thoughts, your body. It won't leave you alone until you come to your senses. It takes courage to sit with your own pain without distraction, without escape, to look it in the eye and ask, "What do you want to teach me?" This simple act begins to open the portal, because it shows that you are willing to listen, to learn, to grow, and that's what the portal demands. Emotional maturity, a willingness to transform pain into wisdom. So the next time something hurts, don't run away. Don't keep quiet. Don't hide it. Listen. Because maybe behind that pain lies the password that allows you to cross to the other side. What you let go of sets you free. The biggest mistake about crossing is thinking you need to achieve something, that you need to be someone better, stronger, more evolved. But the final portal doesn't open to those who carry too much. It opens to those who let go. Because true transformation isn't in accumulation, but in release. You don't cross if you're heavy. You don't cross if you're stuck in guilt, hurt, or old stories. The secret is simple and difficult at the same time. You need to let go. Letting go hurts. Because you've become attached. Because you've created an identity based on certain pains, certainties, people. But what seemed yours was actually just a chapter, not the whole book. And there comes a time when continuing to hold on to the past prevents the future from happening. Do you want to cross over? Then look at your baggage. What inside has lost its meaning? What are you carrying out of habit, fear, or lack? These are the anchors. And the portal doesn't open for those who are still attached. The act of letting go is often silent. Sometimes it doesn't involve goodbyes, words, or explanations. It simply involves an internal enough, a moment when you feel like you can't go on like this anymore, and then you let go. An attachment, a pattern, a name. And even though it hurts, a deep relief washes over you. Because deep down your soul already knew. It just needed you to confirm it. You won't lose what's yours. But you will lose what no longer serves you, and that's a blessing disguised as grief. The pain of letting go is the pain of freedom being born. Trust this. With each thing you let go, you get closer to your essence. And each time you choose to let go, the portal vibrates. It recognizes. It responds. And it opens a little more. So, take a deep breath and ask yourself right now, what am I still carrying that is no longer part of who I am? The crossing is solitary, but the destination is collective. It's natural to want someone by your side on this journey. Someone who understands, who validates, who holds your hand in the dark. But the final portal isn't a group journey. It demands silence, introspection, and internal confrontations that only you can face. And as painful as it may seem, that's how it needs to be. Because the portal tests your innermost truth, and it can't be measured by the gaze of another. The crossing is between you and your soul. No one else can cross for you. You'll miss support. You'll want to share certain discoveries and realize that few understand you. You'll wonder if you're going crazy. But that's when you begin to see who's truly ready and who's still stuck in the old world. Many won't keep up, and that's okay. They have their time too. You don't need to drag anyone along. Your only mission now is to keep going. And trust that in the future the right encounters will happen naturally. With ease. With truth. The solitude of the crossing is in fact a cleansing. It separates the essential from the superficial. It removes those who don't truly see you. It eliminates what distracts. And this hurts, but it also reveals. It shows that you don't need much. You just need coherence, presence, a heart that vibrates at the same frequency as yours. And this kind of connection only happens after you've passed, after you've been reborn. The final destination is collective, yes, but only after the individual crossing. Imagine thousands of souls who have made this solitary journey, meeting again on the other side. Naked souls, healed, conscious, ready to build something new together. This is the vision. This is the future the portal holds. But it only delivers this to those who have the courage to cross the desert of their own soul, without seeking shortcuts, without relying on other people's maps. So don't be afraid of being alone now. It's a stretch, a necessary silence, a purification. Because on the other side, true union happens. And it's so pure, so strong, so serene, that you'll understand why you had to walk alone until now. Time is speeding up, and so is the portal. Have you noticed how the days are passing faster? How cycles are closing with greater intensity? How truths are surfacing without warning, without time to digest? This isn't just an illusion. Time is speeding up because the portal is opening, and with it, masks fall faster, veils dissolve, revelations become inevitable. Those still trying to hold on to the old are being crushed by the pressure of the new. That's why everything seems urgent, intense, uncontrollable. This movement will not slow down. Quite the contrary. It will continue to grow. And those who are not aligned with their own truth will feel as if they are being swallowed by their own life. Because the portal no longer accepts postponements. It demands a position. It wants to know, will you go or not? Will you continue? Pretending you don't feel the call, or will you surrender to the transformation? The choice is still yours, but the time to choose is dwindling. Many people are becoming emotionally and spiritually ill because they are resisting the movement. They feel the push, but they continue to cling to the familiar. The body becomes ill when the soul is trapped. The mind collapses when feelings are denied. Nothing remains hidden for long anymore. What once took years to surface now happens in weeks, days, sometimes hours. Because the portal is activating everything that needs to be resolved, now. You don't need to understand the process mentally. You just need to feel it honestly. Is it heavy? Is it confusing? Is it hurting? Then something needs to be addressed. Something wants to leave, something needs to die for the new to enter. Resist less, trust more. Everything is happening exactly as it should, even if it seems messy. Mess sometimes is the path to reorganization. And this is how the portal works. It disorganizes to reveal the invisible order that was always there. This is the moment. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. The portal is active. It's sensing you. It's waiting for your decision. Because time never stops. And every choice you make from now on will bring you closer to or further away from the crossing. What kind of time? Do you want to live in one that repeats patterns, or one that transforms destinies? Your soul's frequency is your passage. The portal doesn't require fancy words, nor accumulated knowledge, nor spiritual performances. It vibrates at a very specific frequency, and only those who already resonate at that frequency can cross over. It's not about doing, it's about to be. Be consistent with what you feel. Be honest with what you know. Be wholehearted in what you choose. Because your frequency isn't measured by what you say, but by how you vibrate when you're silent, when no one is looking, when only you know what you're feeling. Most people still believe they can deceive the invisible with appearances, but the portal reads energy. It doesn't open to those who are living a facade. It senses whether your heart is at peace, whether your soul is free, whether your intention is true. And that's why the path to it is so demanding. Because before crossing, you need to cleanse, heal, forgive, release. Everything that weighs you down prevents your frequency from rising. You feel it when it's near. Your body shivers. Your intuition quickens. Dreams change. Coincidences increase. The right people appear. But so do tests, confrontations, and temptations. Because the portal tests your consistency. It wants to know if you're just a momentary emotion or truth incarnate. If you still trade in the old or are already committed to the new. If you truly want to move on or just ease your pain without truly changing. This frequency is silent but powerful. It transforms your presence, even without words. And when you reach this state, everything around you changes. You no longer need to force it. What's yours comes. What isn't goes. You tune into a new order, a new vibration, one that connects you to the other side of the portal. And there, life begins to have a different flavor, a different lightness, a different meaning. So stop trying to prove. Start becoming. Take care of your frequency like you would a temple. Because it is your passage, your password, your entry ticket. And when it's ready, the portal won't hesitate. It will open for you. The crossing is not the end. It is the true beginning. You might think that once you cross the threshold, everything is resolved, that the pain disappears, the problems end, that life becomes an instant paradise. But that's not the case. The crossing is just the beginning. True rebirth begins on the other side, when you're no longer who you were, but are still discovering who you are. And that can be scary, yes. But it's also liberating. Because for the first time you're living, no weight, no lies, no walls. The other side of the portal isn't perfect, but it's true. And that changes everything. You're still being tested, challenged. But now the difference is that you respond with awareness. You feel the pain, but you don't get lost in it. You see the obstacles, but you don't freeze. Because something inside you knows. You've already gone through the dark night of the soul. You've already crossed the void. You've already faced the symbolic death of the old version that no longer fit. Now you are both root and flight. You are presence. You are clarity. You are peace that doesn't depend on anything external. And that's all. You no longer need to hide or justify yourself. or beg for space anywhere. The portal has taken you to the only place where the soul can rest, within itself. And from here, you begin to build a different life, not out of obligation, but out of coherence with who you've become. You will inspire other souls without even realizing it. You will vibrate so strongly that your mere existence will be a reminder to those still in the dark. And everything that once seemed like suffering is now accumulated wisdom, refined strength, light generated through friction. You have made it through. And no one can take that away from you. If you felt this video was for you, don't ignore this sign. The portal doesn't appear by chance. It manifests itself to those who are already prepared, or nearly so. And if something in you awakened during this video, it's because your soul is already knocking on the door of the invisible. Now take a deep breath, close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself silently, am I ready to cross? If this question resonated within you, write in the comments, I choose to cross. This phrase is not just symbolic, it's a silent commitment to your soul. If you felt truth in this video, subscribe now. Here, every word is a reminder of what you already know but had forgotten. And if this message touched you, like this video so it reaches more awakened souls like yours, the portal is open. Now, the choice is yours.